All right, good morning. It is about 8:30 in the morning, and it's feels like about somewhere between 85 to 90 degrees. Not that bad, it's kind of nice. I think that guy sells cars. That was an interesting move. Do the same routine today. Let me tell you about some of my gear here. What am I riding? What am I using? So, I love my blue bar tape too. I'm kind of a mint green actually, but I have an old Chromoly Steel Trek 660 road bike that I got in 1992, and it's a 1989 model. So this bike has been around for a while. I think I'll go up to Spanish and then down. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Turn left on Bonanza and go up to Spanish. Or maybe I'll go through this neighborhood. Let's see. Let's go through this neighborhood. Just for fun. All right, so it's a pretty old frame. Not much to see here other than that cool truck. Don't know if you can see it, but that's pretty nice looking. Anyway, so it's a pretty old frame, and I still have the original crank arms and chain rings on the front. It has the old Biopace. And back then, when I got this bike, I was like, oh, I gotta have that, because somebody had told me it was the best. And I guess back in 1989, it was the best. So I got it. It's basically equivalent to the Shimano Ultegra 600, is it? We'll take Spanish and go over this way. And I like it. I think it's a good little kit. All right, so we're gonna do an interesting route today. One thing I do like about Biopace is, and I don't know if it's true for everything, because this has really been my ride since 1992. I've ridden a few other things here and there, just casually. Whoa, there's a dog. Hey, buddy. I don't worry that a dog's gonna bite me. I worry that it's gonna run out in front of me, because I've had that happen too many times. And I've hurt a few dogs that way. Anyway. So I've never really had the chance to experiment with other chain rings. I've pretty much kept this one and stuck with it all my life. Since I was 16, I've had this one. And I like it. I tend to be a low RPM rider, and I do hear that this particular chainring set is good for low RPM riders. So I will leave it at that. And that's probably why I like it. Maybe I got used to it. I stick with the low RPMs, possibly because the chain rings are suited for that. I don't know. But that's what I have, and that's what I'm using. And it's what I like, at least right now. I originally had some pedals with toe clips, because back in those days, toe clips were kind of the rage. The SPD stuff was very expensive. So they didn't use it that much. I mean, only professionals used it at that time, or really rich people. Nowadays you can get, I got my shoes for 40 bucks. I paid, I think, $7.99 for the cleats, because the shoes don't come with the cleats. And these pedals I got for 100. What happened was I left for a while, and I was living somewhere else, and I left my bike at home, and my older sister wanted something to ride. She didn't really fit on this bike, but she wanted to ride it anyway, so she did. She kept crashing because of the toe clips. She would usually ride them with them upside down and not put them on her feet, and then she'd ride in the gutter and smack the pedals on this curb and crash. And then sometimes she would put her feet in the toe clips, and then she couldn't get them out and she'd crash. So after, I think, probably the 7th or 8th crash, she just said, you know what, I'm tired of these. I don't like this. She said, I'm tired of these, and she went and took them to the bike shop and bought some cheap pedals for like 20 bucks, some plastic ones. And she gave my toe clip pedals to the shop owner or the guy at the counter. She didn't sell them or didn't take them back or anything. She gave them to that guy. There was a dead mouse. Dead mouse. He lives here in Vegas too. Anyway, I can't believe she did that. So that guy probably took them and sold them for 50 bucks on Craigslist, or maybe even 20 bucks, I don't know. Even 10, they were free to him, so whatever. I'm sure he enjoyed that. Hey, buddy. And I never saw them again. I moved back down here, and I didn't have my toe clips pedals. I had these cheap plastic ones. Now, like I said before, I tend to be a low RPM rider. It means I tend to be a power rider. And like, I like to stand on it a lot. Within a week of riding, I broke those plastic pedals. So I had to go buy new ones. So I bought some metal ones. They were kind of cool. They had these they had little spikes coming up and stuff. And guess what? Those lasted maybe a year, if that. So then I went and spent, I think it was about $85. And I got some SPD pedals that have the flat side on the bottom. So I can ride them with cleats or without cleats. And I really like them. They've lasted me a long time. I've done some simple adjustments here and there, and I really enjoyed them. Now, instead of going through pedals, I go through cleats, which is kind of funny, but that's what's happening. You can see I get to my big ring pretty quickly. And I generally don't push too hard because I've messed up hubs and things like that. I'm trying to hold back now, especially right now because of my weight. I've gained some weight since I stopped riding for a bit. Anyway, I originally had the Matrix ISO wheels back in 1992. That's what I had. Nice big thick aero graphite. They said they were graphite. I don't know. I think they were aluminum with like a graphite coating. I don't know. But one day I was riding and I was dumb and I put a bag up here on my handlebars and it fell down into the wheel and okay. It fell down into the wheel and got caught and I went into anyway, that wasn't fun, but it caused me to snap that rear wheel. I think I know the driver of that black truck, but I'm not sure. I can't get it on. Oh well. It's got it upside down. That's the downside of these pedals, is they tend to flip over. And then I can't grip in. Or clip in, I should say. Oh well. Anyway. So I split them. And I split that rear wheel. Back then, it cost me $95 to replace the wheel. And I had to replace it because At that time, they didn't make the removable cassette. They probably did, but they were a lot more expensive, I'm sure. But I don't know. I just remember that I could not get it without the rear chain rings being on there. So I had to buy the whole thing as a unit. And that bothered me. And like I said, back then for a 17-year-old kid, $95 was a lot. So it was all I had pretty much. So I replaced it. And then I had those up until, I think I had both the wheels up until about 2005 maybe. And then I went and got myself, I needed a new front wheel. So my cousin works at a pro shop or at a bike shop. It's actually a mountain bike shop, but he was able to get good deals on wheels. And he got me a SRAM S27AL wheel for the front, the whole kit, or the whole front bit. And I love that wheel. I still have it. I went and got some Misch Excite wheels because I started to wear the bearing down on the SRAM. I was kind of disappointed in that. It didn't last that long. And for a while I couldn't get the bearing. Gee, dude, that was a little close. So I had to get new wheels. So I got these Misch Excite wheels, the whole set front and back for $150 on sale because they were like a 2-year-old model, and the back end ended up giving out on me. And the only reason I replaced the back wheel on the other one was because it gave out on me too. So I went through that hub, went through the Misch hub, and now I'm on a Shimano, I forget what it's called. It's a decent wheel. It's not bad. We'll go around back of the school and then down the path just for fun. And then I still have the original brakes, just with new pads and new shoes. And I had some down tube shifters on here and some carbon fiber look brakes that were pretty nice. But my down tube shifters broke. One day it just stopped working, so I took it apart and the innards were in pieces. Rather than getting new ones, I figured I'd like to get some drifters because it's safer. I can do everything right here without having to move around. Yeah, I wanted to turn left from the right lane. Probably move out to the middle, but I don't know. Let's see if he passes. Anyway. He just went straight and then went into the schoolyard. Don't know why he did that. Oh no, he's right behind me. Not sure what he's doing. I don't know why that guy's going so slow. Whatever. Anyway. These are the original bars. But when I got the Brifters, I got the bar tape to go with it. And the cables, because my cables were kind of messed up too. So these cables were originally white when I got the bike. Bar tape was a white vinyl, and when it rained it was slick. If you didn't have gloves it was slick. So I ended up going with this gel cork stuff from Planet Bike, and I love this stuff. This is my second set of this stuff. It's nice and cushy soft. It's a little bit slick when it's wet, but not like the vinyl was at all. I love this stuff. It has much better grip than the vinyl ever did, with or without gloves. I usually ride with gloves just because it helps, and if you do fall, at least you know your gloves take it and not your hands. But that's what I got. Chain ring is a SRAM chain ring. My rear cassette, I should say, is a SRAM cassette. 7-speed. It was hard to find, but I found it. It's actually a mountain bike kit. And derailleur's original. Both derailleurs are still original, just the Brifters are new. And that's pretty much it. All right. That was fun. Keep being awesome, stay safe, and I'll be seeing you on your left.